So the central idea now is basically we've been reading all about the corpse flower. We went through, we understood all of the really cool parts of it, and now we're going to state the central idea about what does the author really want you to know about a corpse flower, okay? We actually, in the sentence above, it has 3 really cool facts about it. So we will include those in it, and it also wants us to also include a direct quote. So it says, which of the following details from the text is not strong support? Well, these 3 are strong support, so we're going to have them under our central idea. Luckily for our central idea, we already posted about what it is, so we're going to take that from up here where we posted. So it said, what was the main idea about the flower? The corpse flower is that people want to see a flower that smells like rotting flesh. So, the central idea that the author wants the reader to know is that the corpse flower is a unique flower that smells like flesh. Okay? So that's like this main thing that the author wants you to know, and then you have to have key details. So we've already got this key detail, so we need to include these 2. Okay? First, or like a key detail, would also be that it can grow to be as tall as a man. A second key detail is that it blooms for only a short time. Alright, so there's 2. Our third key detail, because we don't have it here and it says to find a direct quote, we're going to go up and look for something that we haven't already said. So not rotting flesh, not that it grows tall as a man, not that it blooms for a short amount of time, something other than that. Okay? So, here we have. When a corpse flower blooms, people flock to witness the man-sized flower with the color and scent of death. We're adding about the color and scent. So then, a quote to explain this is there. People flock to witness the sight of a man-sized flower. Death. Okay, and I'm making sure to put my quotes around it so that when the teacher reads this, they see that I have a central idea, and then they can see that I have a direct quote. Okay, it says it supports your explanation, but you always need a concluding sentence. Okay, so you could also at the end say that this quote helps to explain that the author wants to highlight maybe, but they also want us to know about the smell, and so it's talking about people want to see the sight of a man-sized flower with a color and scent of death. They want us to know about the smell, color, and size of the corpse flower. Okay? So whenever you see like state the central account, any kind of short response, the amount of sentences that you really need to have depends on what grade you're in. Oops, under that. So it depends on what grade you're in, but basically the short response should match with like the number of sentences you need to have is something that you guys ask me a lot. And the number of sentences that you need to have match with your grade. So for the short response, you should have at least 6 sentences because you're in 6th grade. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait, hold on. Let's make sure we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we need one more sentence. The corpse flower is an interesting and only have our 6 sentences. That is a good short response that any teacher would give you an A on. Looking at Against All Odds, Earth's Fragile Pioneers. We're going to read through this. It just says read and answer the questions that follow. So I'm going to just take a look at the questions so that I know that what I need to highlight while I'm reading it, okay? So they want a sentence that expresses the central idea and a statement that expresses the idea. Okay, so it's either about invasion of life, how Hawaii is unique, about jet streams of wind, or a certain species. Okay, and then depending on that, one of these sentences will work with them. Okay, so is it about species or Hawaii? From Against All Odds, Earth's Fragile Pioneers. One species every 70,000 years, that's the rate at which plants and animals once colonized the Hawaiian Islands. Millions of them had chance, but the most rugged, like a salt-resistant seed or an insect, or strongly birds, survived the voyage across the Pacific. So we're talking about species, we're talking about animals. Okay, only a few survived the seclusion and harshness, and then they rose out of that assault of life. Okay, it's similar across the globe, but what makes Hawaii stories so special is how hard it was to get there, right? It's an island. They either had to be carried by the wind, they had to fly there, or they had to come across the water. So now it's going into wind, wings, and water. Okay? Wind, wings, and water, we're talking about species, okay? We're talking about different animals. So we really want to make sure when we're looking for the answers, it's explaining all the different distances of how they got to Hawaii. Okay, so I'm going to underline only a few survived, like only a few made it to Hawaii. Okay, like life did get to Hawaii, and this is how. I'm going to say wind. I'm going to underline all the different parts. Wind, wings, and water. Now, I haven't even read about the wind, wings, and water. And I might come back to that, but I do know how to answer this question. So you guys are going to be filling this out, A, B, C, D. So I'll fill it out on both sides, but just so you see, mark your answers. What is the best central idea? Is it about an invasion of life? Is it about how Hawaii story is unique because of great distance? Is it because of jet streams or species? Well, let's look at what we underline. Hawaii and the 3 ways to get to it. So, Hawaii, there's only one that really talks about Hawaii's story. Okay? So Hawaii's story is what it is. Here up here. There you go. Alright. Which best expresses this entire article? Which says, when you're looking at it, which one says Hawaii? One species, nope, that's talking about species. The barren new worlds finally surrendered. Remote and alone, Hawaii is isolated. Okay, but we're talking about how the species lived. Okay, so then it would be, it's between B and C, but really B is talking about how these new worlds is the whole article, because they're talking about how Hawaii, it's against all odds. It's Hawaii's story about how life traveled to get there. And then this is saying how the life was born, right? It rose from the sea, born from the fire, still survived. So we're going to keep that. Spirit. And we're going to highlight evening. That doesn't always happen, but often if you have a central idea and the statement, the quote that goes with it, they are the same letter sometimes. Alright, when looking at 3, the central idea of paragraph 3 is that wind helped. So which statement is the most important to wind? So I need to go read about wind. Insects, seeds, and spiders all like to, oh, that's wings. Where's wind? Many of the plants, spiders, and insects have origins in Asia because of the jet streams. So that's going to be important, talking about the jet stream. Okay? And then as it moves away from Asia, it can slow to 110 kilometers per hour. So I think the most important part, what we're finding out, is how did these plants and spiders and insects get to Hawaii? It was through the jet stream wind that can go 110 miles per hour. So as we are scrolling down, many have origins in Asia thanks to a torrent called the jet stream. Well, yes, absolutely. This is a comment about an eastward flowing jet stream, but it's not about how plants and spiders and insects got there. It's not about how fast it is. It's not about how long it takes. It's about that's how the spiders got there. So we'll explain that that's how the spiders got there. If you're over here, highlighting it. Alright, last one. Which detail conveys the central idea of paragraph 4? Insects and seeds travel. Well, which one's paragraph 4? Insects, seeds, and spiders. Okay. It does say insects, and seeds, but it doesn't talk about spiders. But yeah, it's how they travel on birds that migrate or free flow. It's not about one bird. It's not about one berry. It's not about one bird. So yes. Say A. We're not just talking about one, it's a main idea, so it's going to be multiple animals and plants. Alright, last but not least, paragraph 5 states that a seed can float for months or years. How does this support central idea? Okay, our central idea again, we decided up here, was the best statement of central idea. Hawaii is unique because of the great distance life travels to get there. The central idea is that Hawaii is unique because of the distance plants and animals go to arrive there. The challah seed is a good example because it travels for months and years to get to Hawaii. Alright, we're explaining, if you say that Hawaii is unique because of the distance the plants and animals go to get there, the challah seed is a great example because it's traveling for months and years. Then we need a detail from the text. Okay, it travels months and years to get to Hawaii by water. So we can talk about that it's unique because it can, we're looking at the challah. It's a flowering plant dating back 250 million years. And how does it survive the ocean? Here it is right here. Snuggled in spongy material. So you can say it's also unique. It's also unique because it has adapted to traveling by water. And then here's where you have your quote. They are snuggled in a blanket of material. Right? Spongy material. And this is what helps them survive in the ocean, right? The central idea is that plants arrive there by wind or water, and the challah arrives by water. Wind, wings, or water. And the challah arrives by water. This is how the challah seed is a good example of the central idea. So you're restating, you're giving yourself a concluding sentence. So you want to make sure you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then your last sentence can be the Hawaii. This is what makes Hawaii unique, and that will be the end.